It's a bright, brisk morning here in Lower Michigan. I'm in Three Rivers, Michigan at the sports complex, and I'm a new member of the Ranger team of Lone Star Disc. And a lot of people have been talking about what is in your bag and what do you throw and how do they throw, and a lot of nice questions coming from the team as a whole. So what I want to do today is just go through the discs that I will probably have in my bag at some point. I'm not going to hold all these discs in my bag. I usually carry 12 to 16 discs. This here is Oreo, and Oreo goes with me on all my league nights and when I go play casual disc golf. She's a really good dog, and I keep her on the leash while I throw, and when I'm out here at the park I have to do it as well. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to get started with the bag right away. Here we go. So the first thing is our putters. So we have quite a few penny putters. There's a lot of different plastics out there. So, and of course with different runs and different plastics, you have different flights, right? So I think most of you guys know the V1s and V2s are more grippy to the chains, but much more understable. So I will use these for my turnover disc, and I will use these when I need to get around corners with an Anheuser, and if I want to try to shape a shot that goes up and then curves around to the right, this is what I'll use. I think I'm going to be using these as my main putter. Right now I'm using my Bravo plastic penny putters as my main putter, but I just use these to throw. So this is the first disc that I ever got from Lone Star Disc, and I got this about 3 years ago when they only had a few molds there. I got this. It's the first edition, and I've had it. I brought it up to Michigan and shared some with some other people. I also have that in white. So I have these two first edition putters. And then we have, this is a Lima plastic. Lima plastic is the type of plastic that Lone Star has that is going to be less stable and lighter. So this is this one is only 161 gram, and I don't throw a lot of the penny putters, so I don't really throw this. I think there may be a time for me to do it. I got it from a friend and I'm going to try it out. The other putter that I have is the Benny. It's the penny putter with a bead. So I like this. This is the right now my straight tunnel shot at 200. Anything from 150 to 200 I'll throw this. Anything under 150 I'll probably throw the V1 or V2 penny putters. So that's what this is for. I just got the Copperhead, and I threw it yesterday, and I really like it. This is in the Lima plastic. It is also a good one. I think the Benny's going to have more of a finish than the Copperhead. They fly very similar, but this Copperhead seems to have less of a finish on the ends. This is a 2 fade. This is a 2 fade, but it feels like this comes out of the throw a little bit easier. All right, now we're to our mid ranges. BB6 is money, man. A lot of people talk about replacing their buzz. I get it, I understand. This is not a replacement for a buzz. This is much more understable. This is what I use if I want to. It's more like a sole. If you want to compare it to the Discraft, this is replacing my sole. It will, with some power and flat, it will go hard right. This is also my longer Anheuser, so when I need to finish right, I will at about 220, 250, and this is what I'll use. The other disc that I use in that situation has more of a hook, and that's the Lone Wolf. So this is more of a steady glide to the right, and then this one is more of a hook. So I put this on a little bit of a hyzer, throw it really hard, it'll flip up and it'll turn over to the right really hard if I need to get around corners. So these are my two turnover discs, the BB6 and the Lone Wolf. Lone Wolf probably is going to be my favorite because I love that shot. It's one of my favorite shots to throw. The next step up is the Ranger. A lot of people just really love this. They compare this to the Buzz. I think it's a little less stable than the Buzz out of the hand. it has a tendency to turn to the right quicker. It comes back quite a bit. So this will fly and it'll turn to the right, but then it always has a nice finish. But it usually finishes right of your target. When I say that, if we're drawing that line, you know, when they have these pictures of the flight path, it's going to go over here and it's going to come back a little bit, but it's not going to come back to your target point. It's always going to end up a little bit right if you throw it at flat. Put a little bit of hyzer on it, it'll come up, but it follows the line that you put it on. So if you put it on a big hyzer, it's going to stay left. This isn't going to flip up. Well, not with my arm. I should say that I am a 915 rated AM60 player, and my arm speed is not that great. I throw 350 at max, and most of my shots are right around the 300 mark. 273, 300 is a big range there, but that's usually where I am. My other first time meeting Lone Star about 4 years ago, I got in the middies. Not this middy, I threw that one into the lake. This is replacing my zone. I know the zone is more of a putter, but this is nice overstable disc. It has some rim to it, and so it'll cut through some air. So when I'm in high wind situations throwing sharp, or if I need a hook to the left, I go with the middy and throw the middy down the road. The next step up is the harpoons. Now, I just bought these harpoons the other day, went out and threw them, and I bought them in all 4 plastics that were available at the time. So I have my Alpha, my Bravo. This is the Alpha, this is the Bravo, and then I have my V1s and V2s. The V1s and V2s are very stable. This is going to be the harder turns to the left. It's not a meat cook. It's not going to go straight and then going to fade left. It's going to casual turn. For all you strong arm players, you guys are going to love these harpoons. They're going to be very, very overstable. Too overstable for me. I probably won't keep these in my bag, but I will probably keep this harpoon in my bag. The Bravo harpoon is the less stable of them all, and this is closer to my buzz. It doesn't have the glide of a buzz. Let me see if any of these, none of these really have the numbers on them, but I'm gonna when I edit this video, I'm gonna put in a picture of these with their glides, all their numbers, all their flight numbers. So, but this is going to be going straight for me. I can turn it up to the right a little bit, and it's gonna come left. And so I think I'm gonna be able to throw this quite far, and hopefully this is gonna be for my 250 tunnel shots. If I get it beat in, these Bravo plastics don't beat in really fast. These are really good plastics. I love the plastics, and they stay true to form for a very long time. Now we get into the fairway drivers, and I think my money fairway driver is going to be this Mockingbird. I have quite a few Mockingbirds. This one is, I believe, the Bravo plastic. Bravo plastic is my favorite plastic. It's a little more gummy, but I like the slick feel of it. And this is one of the first discs that I ever got. So this was one of the first runs of the Mockingbird, and it's a little bit less stable than the other Mockingbirds. It's going to go to the right, and it's going to hold the form, and it's going to finish out left. So I can get some good distance on this, and it's very controllable. So I really love this Mockingbird. I also have it in glow, which is going to be I don't know. I haven't thrown this since winter a couple years ago, so I brought it out because I found it in my bag. So, but I bought these 2 discs 3 years ago, and I just love them. I think this is going to be my go-to disc. Anything between 250 and 300, this is where I'm going to be throwing the Mockingbird. And if I put it on a hyzer, it'll go left and it'll stay left. So it's going to follow that flight plate to the left. It's not going to flip over and then keep turning. So I really love this Mockingbird. The Lariat is a 9-speed, and this is another distance driver. I think I could probably throw this 300. It's got a lot of glide to it. It's got a 9.5 neg1. I like this disc. I'm going to throw this in situations, I believe, when I'm going to have to go a little bit further than the Mockingbird, or if I'm hitting a little bit of wind, I will throw this instead of the Mockingbird. They're very, very similar in flights. So the Lariat is another 270 to 300 for me. The overstable disc, a friend of mine on the team gave me this DOS X, and I threw it, and it was just really overstable. I read some on the board about the different plastics, so I went and bought a Lima plastic, and this is a 155 gram, and man, it can sail. So I really like this disc. This disc is going to finish left, so it's more stable than the Lariat or the Mockingbird. And so when I know I need to go left, or I'm in a little bit of wind, I'm going to be hitting this DOS. Now, most likely I'll be hitting this DOS because this DOS is a 173 and this one is a 155. But man, if you want distance, you get the lighter weight. So I'm going to throw this when I have the wind behind my back, and when I want to just dump it really far and I know it needs to go left, it's a little too powerful for the turn than the Mockingjay would be, or Mockingjay, oops, the Mockingbird would be. Right. Now we get to our drivers. Drivers are always, people are gonna tell you different things about drivers and how they fly and different plastics, and you know, you just have to take it out to a field like I'm doing, set up something and try them out. That's the only way you can really decide whether or not this disc is going to be for you and what it's going to be doing. The curls, I have a couple curls, the Alpha plastic and the Bravo plastic. The Bravo plastic is much more understable. This will turn over for me, so I can throw this in the wind and I know it's going to turn right. So if I have some anhyzer shots that I need to pull out, if I need to go to the right, I can pull this out and put it on flat and sail it to the right. This curl is more of my speed. This is probably my driver that I'm going to be using mostly. This is going to go over 300 feet, probably 300, 350, depending upon my release points, which are inconsistent a little bit, and whether or not the wind is going to help me out. But this is going to be an over 300 driver disc for me, and it's only, I can't remember, I think it's an 11 speed. So this is an 11 speed, and I think it's just perfect for my arm to go 300 feet. So this is my go-to driver. Now I say that, but when I say that, I've been using this Tumbleweed. It's a 10 speed and it says it's a neg4, but I think it's much more stable than that. If I put this with a little bit of a hyzer, this is going to flip up to flat and sail back over, and it comes back. This is a great driving disc, and I might make this my, if the wind is in the right place, not coming straight to my face at high speeds, this is probably going to be a good driver for me. It might outdrive my curl, so we're going to be still testing that and seeing which is going to be the greater driver, the Tumbleweed or the curl. The difference, I think, is this has a 6 glide to it. The Tumbleweed has a 6 glide, and that helps it sail, so it goes pretty far. The other really understable driver is the Harrier. Now the Harrier, you got to be careful with this one. This is really flippy. I have the Alpha plastic, and it's stiff, but it still goes over to the right. So you have to test it. Now, the good thing about that is it's easier to lay a roller down with this disc than it is, for me, than it is to lay one down with the Tumbleweed. The Tumbleweed will usually come back. So the Harrier is the heavy hook shot to the right. Anhyzer, you don't really need it. Just throw it flat and it will turn to the right. Go too much, it's going to turn into a cut roll. But if you can measure it out and you practice with a little bit more, you can throw it over, hit that. And I accidentally did that roller. I was throwing it into wind one day and it hit the roller. It went 450 feet. So I only threw 325, 30, 40 feet. So having that 450 come out of my hand, that says, okay, well, maybe I need to experiment with this a little bit more. So that's the Harrier. The Nimitz I thought was going to be my go-to disc, and it still might be. This is an 11 speed as well. So the Lima plastic is less stable than the Alpha plastic. So I have a Lima and Alpha, and both of these, they sail, but they're a little more stable than the Curl, and that means it cuts out to the left early for me. Maybe a little too much disc for me, but if I can throw it flat and maybe give it a little bit of a Hanheiser push and do a forced turnover, it's going to come back. The Lima is 161, so this thing goes far. This should be my furthest throwing disc. The Lima plastic 11 speed should be exactly where I am to get the most. That Tumbleweed, I don't know. This is going to be a contest to see which ones are going to be the furthest. And if I get some consistent throws in there over time, I'll figure out which one is going to be the furthest and which one I'm going to bag for my driver. And then my meat hook, even though it's not really a meat hook, but for my arm speed, the Bayonet is what I'm going to be doing when I need to go long distances to the left. And I need to just hyzer it out. If I throw it flat, it's not going to turn over. When I play in high winds, this is where I'm going to go, because it's very strong disc for me. It's 13 speed, neg 2. That doesn't mean a whole lot for me. This always dumps left, and so I can't throw it far. Probably 270 is where this lands for me, and it goes hard to the left. If I put in some grunt, maybe I might be able to get it a little bit further. But if I know I'm going to be doing a driver, a shot that's around 300 foot to the left, I have to go left. I have to make sure I stay away from anything that's on the right side. I know it's not going to flip over. It's going to be consistent left. Then I'm going to throw the Bayonet. I tried the Sequin and I gave it away. It's way too much disc for me. So that was too powerful a disc for me. There are quite a few discs in there that I never tried. I'm not gonna do the Tombstone. I'm not gonna do. There's another. The Bull Snake. I'm not gonna do the Bull Snake because those, I know those are just way too stable for me. I don't have the arms for those, so I picked those out. I have one more disc left, and this is the Mad Cat. And the Mad Cat, this is in Bravo plastic. It should have been a little bit less. I was trying to replace my Undertaker, and I thought this was going to be it, but this is just quite stable. I think the best disc to match my Undertaker would probably be the Mockingbird. Yeah, the Mockingbird. So the Mockingbird's probably going to be what's going to replace my Undertaker, but the Mad Cat goes about 270 and always goes left. This probably could be my high wind. It's got quite a bit of stability. Sorry it fell out of order, but my stuff came out of the bag. I've got probably 24, 25 disc here. I'm only going to use, I only bag 12 to 16. I get one that goes left, one that goes right, one that goes straight, and at 200, 250, 300, and that's pretty much where I am. And then my upshots being able to go right, left, and straight. So I don't carry a big bag. I carry a small bag. It's better for my back. And it's hard for me to make decisions anyway. So if I have too many, if I just say, hey, this one goes left, this one goes right, this one goes straight, at this distance, I'm good to go. It's something easy for me to remember. All right, I'm going to cut this video right now, and then I'm going to come back and show you the course that I put out. So I have a course laid out. I've got my GoPro I'm going to set up to watch me. I've got my drone that I'm going to put up in the air, and we're going to be doing some flight tests, okay?